I learned how to say "I'm fine" early. It became automatic, like breathing, like smiling when someone looks at you. People ask, "How are you?" And I answer before I even think. I'm fine, not because it's true, but because it's easier. This is a story about that. Every morning starts the same. I wake up, I sit on the edge of the bed, and I take a moment before standing. Not because I'm tired, but because I need to prepare my face. The version of me that people see, the calm one, the one who looks okay. I practice it in the mirror sometimes, not the smile, the neutral. The look that says, nothing is wrong, and also says, please don't ask. At work, or school, or wherever I need to be, people greet me. Hey, how's it going? You good? I nod. I smile lightly. I say the words they expect. Yeah, I'm fine. And they move on. They always move on. There's a strange relief in that, and a quiet ache, because part of me wants them to stay, and another part hopes they don't. I've noticed something. When you tell people you're fine, they believe you, not because they don't care, but because everyone is tired, everyone is carrying something. Your "I'm fine" gives them permission to not look closer, and sometimes that's exactly what I want. The truth is, I don't know how to explain what's wrong. It's not one big thing, it's not something dramatic, it's a collection of small thoughts, unfinished feelings, questions with no clear answers. How do you explain that without sounding ungrateful? How do you say, nothing terrible happened, but I don't feel okay, without feeling like you're complaining? So I don't. I say, I'm fine. There are moments when it almost works, when I'm laughing with others, when I'm busy, when I forget myself for a while. In those moments, I think maybe I am fine. But then I go home, the door closes, the noise stops, and the quiet returns. That's when everything catches up. At night, I replay conversations, not the important ones, the small ones, things I didn't say, things I laughed at even though they hurt. I imagine different versions of myself, the one that tells the truth, the one that says, I'm not okay. I wonder what would happen. Would they listen? Would they panic? Would they pull away? That uncertainty feels heavier than staying silent. There's a moment I think about often. Someone once asked me, no, really, how are you? They paused. They looked at me. For a second, the door was open. I felt my chest tighten. My thoughts rushed forward. And then I smiled. I'm good, I said. They nodded. They accepted it. They didn't push. And oddly enough, that hurt more than if they had. I didn't realize this at first, but pretending to be fine becomes a habit. You stop checking in with yourself. You stop noticing when things change. You become very good at functioning, not feeling, just functioning. You show up, you do what's expected, you don't cause concern, and people start describing you as strong, low maintenance, always okay. They don't see the cost. The cost is subtle. It's the exhaustion that doesn't go away with sleep. It's the feeling of being unseen even when surrounded by people. It's the fear that if you ever stopped pretending, you wouldn't know where to begin. Because if you've been fine for so long, what happens when you're not? Sometimes I wonder who I'm protecting. Am I protecting them from discomfort? Or am I protecting myself from vulnerability? Probably both. There's safety in being predictable, in being easy to understand. I'm fine is simple. It doesn't ask for time. It doesn't ask for care. It lets everyone move on. But there are days when I feel the weight of it more. Days when the smile feels heavy. When my voice sounds distant to myself. On those days, I notice how carefully I manage my reactions. I don't react too strongly. I don't show too much. I keep things balanced, controlled, not because I'm calm, but because I'm afraid of what might spill out. Here's something I don't say out loud. Sometimes I wish someone would notice without me having to explain. I wish they would hear the pause before I'm fine, or see the way my eyes hesitate, not to fix me, not to pressure me, just to sit there and say, you don't have to pretend right now. I'm starting to understand something, slowly. Pretending to be fine isn't lying. It's surviving in a world that doesn't always know how to hold honesty gently. It's choosing the path with the least resistance, But it's also lonely because no one can meet you where you actually are if you never show them. I don't think the answer is to suddenly tell everyone everything. That feels unrealistic and honestly overwhelming. Maybe it starts smaller. Maybe it's just admitting to yourself first that fine isn't the whole truth. Maybe it's allowing one moment with one safe person to say something different. Today's a bit heavy. I'm not sure how I feel. Or I don't really want to talk, but I don't want to pretend either. I'm still learning. Some days I'm fine is all I have. Other days, I let the silence sit a little longer. I let the question linger. I breathe before answering. And even if I still say I'm fine, I know what I mean by it. It means I'm doing my best. If you're someone who pretends they're fine so people don't ask questions, I want you to know this. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're not failing at being human. You learned a way to cope, and it helped you get here. But you're allowed to want more than that. You're allowed to want to be seen, to be understood, to be honest, even quietly. You don't have to explain everything. You don't have to perform pain. And you don't owe anyone the version of you that never struggles. Sometimes not being fine is the most honest thing there is. And someday, when you're ready, you might find that the right people won't ask questions to fix you. They'll ask because they want to stay. And until then, it's okay to take your time.